welcome back to the You Haven't Seen That podcast. I'm Erin.
And I'm Josh.
And this week we are watching Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber, yes.
I remember seeing the ads for this when it came out, and there's a lot of movies on our list where I'm like, oh yeah, I've always wanted to see that. Like we were just talking about No Country for Old Men. But when I saw the ads for that, I was like, I want to see that. I remember looking at the ads for Dumb and Dumber, and I was like, not for me.
Not for you?
So we'll have to... we'll discuss whether or not it turned out to be for me.
Well, I'll just quickly say, how'd this feel from the last movie that we reviewed? You were saying you needed a quite different vibe. So, a refreshing vibe or a...
It was very different. Before we get into that, give us the stats on this movie.
All right.
Josh.
So, Dumb and Dumber, it was released in 1994. It is directed by the Farrelly brothers. They work with Jim Carrey, who's one of the stars in this movie. Mm-hmm. Also, Jeff Daniels. Those are your two main stars. Jim Carrey plays Lloyd Christmas, and Jeff Daniels plays Harry Dunn. Pretty much the movie is these guys are just complete idiots who are on a road trip to return a briefcase to a woman that Lloyd is infatuated with. And then there's a little extra behind that briefcase, a little ransom kidnapping scheme. Yeah.
And why do I know the Farrelly brothers? I feel like I recognize...
You might have possibly seen or heard of the other movies that they've done. They did Something About Mary, Me, Myself, and Irene. They did the sequel of this movie. They're kind of one of the guys that do like almost raunchy comedies. Like they're almost raunchy or they are raunchy comedies. Mm-hmm. Like that's all they kind of really do. And they're one of the few like siblings that do movies. Mm-hmm. Like I'm sure we'll get to the Coen brothers at some point, one of their movies.
The Wachowski sisters.
The Wachowski sisters. But yeah, there's not too many siblings that work together, write and direct movies. Mm-hmm. Those are probably the three main ones. Yeah, that's probably where you see them. You've probably seen, or maybe you've heard of some of the movies that they've done.
I've heard of the movies that you listed, yeah. I think this is the only one of theirs that I've seen. Well, and I remember this came out towards the beginning of when Jim Carrey was like really like everywhere. Yeah,
so
right?
here's the thing. Jim Carrey did 3 movies that were released in 1994. He had this one, he had Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and he had The Mask. So they were all...
Oh, okay. So
they were all bangers. Jim Carrey, 94, was it. He was on fire. He was just coming off of his time on the comedy show In Living Color.
He was on In Living Color?
Yep, he was the only white dude on there. Okay. He was the biggest thing during that time. I remember just watching a bunch of his stuff. I remember watching quite a few of these in theaters, like Pet Detective, The Mask. I mean, The Mask was like, it was marketed to kids, and there was a toy line. Funny little trivia thing about this movie and Jim Carrey movies, especially these 3 that I've listed, Dumb Dumber, Pet Detective, and The Mask, all of them had an animated children's show made after.
Dumb and Dumber did as well?
Dumb and Dumber did it. I don't think it was as popular, and I didn't really know about it until later on, like maybe a few years ago. There was a Dumb and Dumber cartoon show?
That's crazy.
I remember The Mask, and I remember Ace Ventura, Pet Detective cartoon. I remember watching them a few times. And actually, my copy of Ace Ventura, like the double feature, because it's got both movies, it also has a couple episodes of the cartoon with it. But yeah, the Dumb and Dumber show, I have not seen anything for it, and I think it was on Amazon Prime for a little bit, but it's kind of obscure and hard to find.
Huh. I cannot imagine anything that could compel me to watch that cartoon.
The cartoon, yeah. Yeah, it looks like it came out in 95 and only had 13 episodes. So it didn't last very long. It probably wasn't very good, but the characters look goofy. But yeah, let's get back to the movie.
I was so conflicted about this movie. Because, like, on the one hand, I don't know, I feel like comedies are, like, really hit or miss for me. Yeah. Just because, like, what one person thinks is funny is not going to be what someone else thinks is funny. No. And so, like, I think, generally speaking, anything that's potty humor, I'm not here for it. Anything that's, like, slapstick, I'm not really here for it. I like stuff that's more satirical.
You probably fit more with, like, dark comedy type style.
I do like a dark comedy.
So, like, maybe stuff that, like, some Jason Bateman, maybe a little bit more of, like, Mike Judge stuff.
Well, like, so, because I was like, as I was making my notes, I was like, ugh, comedies never make me happy. And I was like, it has to be like one comedy that you like. And the first one that came to mind for me was Tropic Thunder.
Okay.
I love the shit out of Tropic Thunder.
And that's like more satire because it's making fun of the way celebrities are, the way Hollywood is, the way of making movies, and like
the whole Oscar bait thing.
Yeah, like a lot of that stuff.
The entire studio system. Yeah. So like, for me, I'm gonna like something that's like a little bit more satirical, just because like I don't know it plays more to the things that appeal to me. But at the same time, like, even I am not immune to the physical comedy that Jim Carrey can do. Yeah. The man is a genius with moving his body in a funny way.
Jim Carrey, even Jeff Daniels, they get comedy. And like being a comedic actor, I think is probably the most hardest part.
Oh, I'm sure.
Of acting compared to drama and horror, because I think if you can get the comedic beat down and be really good with improv, you can go really far. And these guys have done real dramatic roles. I mean, Jim Carrey, not as much as Jeff Daniels. Jeff Daniels does a lot of more dramatic roles, and his acting.
No, I really liked him in this. Even though like he's easily the less funny of the two, I just connected with the character more. Yeah. But I mean, like, I don't have a problem with Jim Carrey in a dramatic role either. One of the few movies I have seen is Eternal Sunshine, and I thought he was really good in that. Ooh, also one of my favorite Jim Carrey comedies is Fun with Dick and Jane, and he is fucking hilarious in that movie. But yeah, so like I was so conflicted with the movie because like there's parts of it where I'm like, okay, this is not for me. Like the laxative joke where he's like shitting at the girl's house, not for me. Or like
that wasn't for a lot of people.
I'm sure it wasn't.
I'll tell you this from what I heard was Clint Eastwood, when he saw this movie, he hated that part. He said, "What is cinema becoming when you have that as a scene?" He's like, that is not funny. He goes, that can just happen, and that's not funny.
I don't know. To me, this feels a little bit like that whole thing that Mel Brooks said. What was that quote of his? Tragedy is when I cut my finger. Comedy is when I fall down an open manhole cover and die. Yeah. And so like, Mr. Eastwood, it doesn't have to be to your taste or anything, but like there is a fine tradition of like people thinking bodily humor is funny, going back literally to the ancient Sumerians. And so
that's funny that you bring that, because I like really thought about this, because I kind of figured that's how your response to this would be, like, I don't think it's really my type of comedy. But like this movie to me, especially with like some of the Jim Carrey stuff, I think of like, where does the inspiration come from for this comedy? And I'm sitting there thinking, going all the way back, like comedy films have probably been the longest lasting like genre. When you go all the way back to Charlie Chaplin, to Buster Keaton.
Oh God, I love Buster Keaton.
What was it, Fatty Arbuckle? Like, you know, even the Three Stooges, the Marx Brothers, like those are such. Like, comedy has been around for such a long time compared to drama and sci-fi and westerns.
And all of that had, like, its basis in, as problematic as it might be, like, minstrel shows, which are designed to be comedic in themselves, which also comes from, like, an older history of, like, body theater. And even, like, Shakespeare had poop jokes in his comedies and stuff. So, like, again, it doesn't have to be to your taste, but to say that, like, cinema is dying because we have, like, a diarrhea joke. Like, come on, dude. You don't have to like it, but like, chill the fuck out. Yeah. But no, like, it was so funny because I walked in with sort of a preconceived notion of this is going to be all stupid humor. And it's going to be stupid humor from the 90s. And so I was instantly really worried. I'm like, okay, how poorly did this movie age? How much am I going to have to spend time on the podcast being like, okay, so this was problematic and this is problematic and that made me uncomfortable. And actually, I was so surprised. I kept waiting for like the homophobic shoe to drop, and it never quite did. I kept waiting for like the sexist shoe to drop, and it never quite did. That part at the very end where the girls pull up in the and they're like, hey, we need a massage oil boy, blah blah blah, and they're like, oh, well, you got to go back to town. And I was like, ha ha ha, good job, movie. And then they go running after the bus, and I'm like, okay, I take it back. Never mind. Bad job, movie. Yeah. And then they're like, you have to go the other direction. I was like, okay, you can have it back again. Good job, movie.
Okay. So.
And there is stuff where they're talking about like gay stuff, but they're not homophobic jokes.
So, they're not. Like, And I think the characters wouldn't even like truly understand
Possibly.
what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like the jokes and stuff in a sense. Like
the part where Seabass turns up because there's like the graffiti that says like
yeah, once a manly love be here at this time, which yeah. So here's another one. I'm assuming you got it off of YouTube or whatever. So I don't know if you watched the same version I did. Because So I have a DVD copy that's considered the unrated version.
Oh, interesting.
So there's a couple extra longer bits.
Oh, no. Okay.
So I would always watch the other version because it was always on TV, and that's what came out until like DVDs came out, and then they made this unrated version. So the hot tub scene where they're at the love one. So I can't remember from the original one exactly how that scene goes, but the version I watched, you know, they're sitting there in the hot tub together drinking their beers, and Jim Carrey's like, oh, this is perfect, you know, hot tub, beer, and thin paper walls, because he's got a glass up, and you can hear really loud moaning.
Wow.
And like it's like, oh wow, I don't really remember this because like I was watching this when I was, you know,
a kid,
and I don't remember
that's
a lot of that, because I would say like watching this movie, kid back then probably was not great, but so he's listening to this and he's all like, yeah, this is great, get her, yeah. And then he's like, he looks at Harry and goes, yeah, everything would be perfect, it'd be even better if you had some two big old boobs on you. Or something like that, like something like the joke, and he says one big thing would be a set of knockers on you, and then Lloyd goes, well, that's two things. And he was like, yeah, I show you what a real man was, I'll split you like a log. And then he's just like, you would like that, wouldn't you? And he's like, look at him like, yeah, you homo. And I was like, oh, so there's the first, there it is. I was like, okay, all right. But yeah, so I don't even remember that from like watching it so many times back then, but watching it again with this unrated one, because it has been a while, and I was like, whoa, I'm really surprised
I'm so curious about that.
I'll let you take the DVD, or you just come over and watch it.
I'll just have to come over and watch it. I don't have a DVD player. But that's so funny. And like, okay, so we definitely did watch a different version in that case, because I don't remember that joke at all, and I would have definitely made note of it. But in the version that I watched, there's that part where like Jim Carrey's driving the van and he like drifts off to sleep and has his dream sequence.
His dream sequence, yeah.
And like, I don't remember the actress's name, but Mary. You see Mary's literal entire ass, and I'm like,
yeah.
Whoa.
So that was in the original. I remember when I would watch it like on like premium cable, but it's not on, because this movie was on TV a lot, like TNT, TBS, and so that's TBS, you know, those are cable channels that they have to like edit stuff.
Yeah.
So you get the movie edit. So I was always remember watching on TV. He'll start lifting it up, and then it's like a quick edit where it's back down, and and you see his smile on his face and stuff. But yeah, you see that.
I mean, like, listen, I don't mind seeing a pretty lady's butt, but at the same time, I was just very surprised. Yeah. To me, that was like the closest that the movie ever got to like really being kind of sexist and gross, was that dream sequence. But I think there's a difference between like the way you're meant to read a character and the way you're meant to like read a scene, and you're always supposed to be reading Jim Carrey as this like fucking idiot who is not necessarily relatable per se. And so like some of the stuff that he does, which is questionable, you're not meant to look at him and be like, oh yeah, it's me or whatever. You're meant to look at him and be like, this guy's an idiot.
I don't think you're supposed to. Are these guys even really the heroes in this movie?
Exactly. And so, like, again, that was, like, the closest thing it came to, like, being kind of grossly sexist. And even then I was like, oh, this is just showing, like, what a dumb idiot this guy is.
Yeah, with random fantasies.
Well, the fantasy that, like, them proceeded, where he's just, like, being exceedingly dumb around her family, and they're all just laughing. I was like, yeah. Yeah, that does track. Yeah. This guy wants...
What'd you think of the dinner fight scene? I always laugh at that one because it's just so funny. Wait. Yeah, it's part of the dream sequence.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I was like...
Because he has he goes through many things, yeah.
Thank you. No, thank you for reminding me. Because I actually made note of that, because when it first came up, obviously he's having like his little fantasy or whatever. And I'm watching and I'm like, oh no, this is Shrugs or whatever. And as like more and more people came out and started fighting him, I was like, I don't know. And then the chef comes out, and they both have their, like, overly long kung fu intro thing. And the longer it went on, the more I was like, this is starting to, like, wrap around again. It started out not that funny. And then the longer it goes, the funnier it gets. It didn't quite get all the way around where I was like, okay, this is hilarious. But it was starting to get close because it was hitting that, like, absurdist level. Mm-hmm. And I think it did finally kind of go over the top for me. Punches his hand into the chef's chest and, like, pulls out his heart. Yeah. And puts it in the doggy bag and here you go.
There's your leftovers.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, it was such a weird thing. I think at the beginning of the movie, it wasn't hitting for me very well, but the longer it went on, the more it was hitting. I
think when they kick off on their road trip, the movie gets much more interesting.
And it was interesting, too, because there are elements of the movie that felt shockingly competent. The scene that you were watching right before we started the pod is the one where they have just come in to town. They've just gotten into Aspen, and they're fighting, and Jeff Bridges is going to, like, throw the stupid briefcase into the water. And that little bit of suspense where you know it's full of money, the thing that they desperately need, but they don't know because they're, like, they haven't opened it or whatever. That little bit of suspense is actually really, really good. And I kept waiting for the briefcase to, like, go into the water. And so I was like, yeah, this is shockingly competent. But then, like, there are other parts where in screenwriting terms, there's the midpoint, the sort of, like, all is lost moment. And it has two. And I don't know why we have, like, a bonus midpoint. There's the one where they've accidentally turned around and driven into Nebraska for 6 hours, and then they, like, friend break up for a hot second, and then they just, like, get back on with it. Okay. Yeah. And then, like, there's the other midpoint where, again, they friend break up because of reasons. And I was like, okay, that feels weird. And, like, by the time we hit the second one, I was like, I was looking at my metaphorical watch. I was looking at my phone being like, oh my God, is this movie ever going to be over? It's almost 2 hours. I'm like, please, it's already been an hour and a half. Have mercy on my soul. I want this movie to be done. And so it was the weirdest combination of really well put together and engaging, and also like, I don't like this anymore. Can I please stop? It was a very strange experience.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
Like, what's your thought on this whole thing?
For me, this is probably one of my favorite comedies. I don't know, I like it for just how simplistic the story is, where it's just, let's just return this briefcase and then have silly things happen. And of course, our heroes of this story, they're morons.
Yeah.
And I think if they didn't have Jim Carrey in this movie, I think this movie would have failed.
Probably.
I don't know who could have done this better. I mean, and I definitely think you were talking about, like, this movie's dated. I think you can't do this movie again in today's, because, like, they tried to do a sequel with these characters again, like 20 years later, and I did not like it.
No, that sounds horrible.
I did not like it. So I would rather just watch this one and just remember, have the nostalgia of like the time period of the 90s and stuff.
Yeah.
There's no cell phones, there's no social media, because I think 20 years later it would have been, I said 94. So the other one came out in 2014.
Okay.
And I just did not like that. And I don't like, because we've had this in the last few years, we've had a comedy movie come out and then they do a sequel 10 years later. They did it with Anchorman, they did it with Zoolander, did it with this movie. I didn't see those other movies. I just heard that they are just terrible.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the original ones, the first ones, but...
Well, and I think comedy is one of those things. I wouldn't say that this movie has aged poorly. I thought it was going to, and it didn't. It's just very much not to my taste.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Having Jim Carrey be an idiot and do crazy things with his body, which this isn't even one of the craziest examples of that, but, like, whatever. Having Jim Carrey be, like, an idiot and do crazy stuff with his body in 1994 was like lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Because he was still relatively new on the scene. Doing it in 2014, we've already seen this 1,000 times. I'm sorry, Mr. Carrey. I don't care.
Yeah. Especially, like, comedy films, there's not a lot to, like, really cut up and analyze. You're not really doing a lot with any expression with, like, camera movements and stuff. Because really, you're just setting up the camera and, like, all right, do your jokes. I mean, that's how I feel with, like, Kevin Smith movies. Is you set up the camera, like, okay, read your lines, your jokes.
I mean, not to be a dick about it, though, I disagree based on what we were just talking about. One of the originals two of the originals of cinema comedy are Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin. And those guys didn't even have lines, and they could still make their movies funny. So I feel like there can be more. And I almost wonder if people are relying on sound too much.
Yeah, and that's most likely. I think comedies now are this like shock of things. Like you look at like the Hangover movies.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any of those. But there's a lot of like shock value and like or even like Borat, Sacha Baron Cohen's comedy where it's like, let's really shock people and do crazy things, and it's could be really funny, or it's just shockingly disturbing, like how funny that is. But I mean, that's also different styles of comedy too, because you look at like Jackass, that's body torture, and they're doing stunts, and like I mean, I laughed my ass off on some of those movies, but you know, and that's also a different cup of tea for some people. Like, some people are gonna think those movies are terrible, and and they may be right, but you know, it's not cinematic gold. That's what I'm trying to say is like it's not cinematically like inspiring too much to some people. I mean, if that's what you want to do is comedy, then, and like I've said, like this is one of my favorite comedy films, but yeah, there's no aspects of, you know, groundbreaking with camera movement compared to like we would watch, you know, No Country for Old Men or something like that, you know. It's just,
I mean, that's actually a type of comedy that I really appreciate, and not to sing the praises of Shaun of the Dead for the 25th time in a row, but like some of the funniest stuff was stuff that you can only do because they've got the camera fixed, like the way that they have actually I guess this one was, is it Hot Fuzz that I'm thinking of, where like the two stupid detectives, they do that thing where they both leave the frame and then one of them comes back. Stuff like that, where you're like utilizing the medium,
and I feel like that takes really, a more creative, like comedic mind compared to I'm just gonna write jokes and hopefully my actor can land them. And then I feel like that's kind of the Farley brothers style, because they cast Jim Carrey in quite a bit of their films, and I think he does so well with them.
For a while, I thought that maybe I just didn't like comedy movies at all, because Jim Carrey is fine, but I'm not like over here dying for Jim Carrey. Will Ferrell, not for me. Ben Stiller, generally not for me. But then like Tropic Thunder came out and it was so fucking good, and so that kind of like made me think like, okay, maybe there's just something there that I'm missing.
And I think with Tropic Thunder, that's kind of more of an ensemble cast, because you got Jack Black, you got
that's true,
Robert Downey Jr., you got a couple other people in there, and sometimes a lot of the like Ben Stiller and like Jim Carrey movies, those are movies that they are doing. It's just them, and it's not necessarily, you know, they have other cast members, but they're not the main cast members compared to like Tropic Thunder. That's an ensemble cast, and they all kind of get a good amount of screen time. And I think that's maybe what you might like more, is like an ensemble cast.
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, you might even like more of the Seth Rogen, Judd Apatow type comedy films, you know, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up.
I have seen 40-Year-Old Virgin, and it's okay. I'm trying to think back to the things that I have thought are funny. And like a Jim Carrey movie that I did not think was generally that funny, but which has one of the funniest parts of any movie ever, in my opinion, is Bruce Almighty. And this is so dumb. I don't understand why this gets me the way it does, but the part where Jim Carrey is controlling Steve Carell and Steve Carell's just going crazy, I don't know why that gets me, but it gets me so hard. Yeah,
that scene I think really helped Steve Carell.
It did.
Get a lot of roles.
Literally laughed until I cried. Talking of like the Seth Rogen, I remember I watched 40-Year-Old Virgin, and the line from that movie that I still say is I changed it a little bit, but I tell people that they know I'm gay because I listen to Coldplay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it?
I don't know why that gets me too. Generally speaking, that movie was like, I don't know, it was kind of shrugs, even though it has Steve Carell, who I generally like really well. I don't know. I need to put more thought into it, because I can't think of like very many straight comedies that really do it for me. Mel Brooks, I would say, is probably
but he does a lot of parodies too. Because like
so maybe it's that.
So maybe you like parodies, because even like Shonda and Hot Fuzz, those are somewhat parody, because they're
that's true. It's a genre.
They're parody. Yeah, they're parodies, but they have kind of their own style, which is nice. And then Mel Brooks, they're parody movies, but he has his style. Unlike when they did all these parody movies after the scary movies came out, and they did like superhero movie, epic movie, disaster movie, like all these ones.
Those, and they looked terrible.
They are terrible. Like Scary Movie 1 and 2 are probably the best of all of those. And then when the Wayans brothers, I'm sorry, there's another group of brothers there I forgot to mention. mention the Wayans brothers, because they also did In Living Color. So full circle back here. Yeah, they were attached and did the first 2 Scary Movies. And they left after those. And then, like, they continued to do some without them. Yeah, they were terrible. But they're back for this new one that comes out this summer. Scary Movie 6.
Wow, okay.
And I'm kind of excited for that one.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so weird. This movie gave me a comedy identity crisis because I'm like, what do I like? What do I like?
What is funny?
There were so many parts where I don't like bathroom humor, but the part where Jeff Bridges pees on Jim Carrey and then when they get into town, he's stuck onto him.
Yeah.
I loved that. I don't know.
It's kind of warm. Yeah.
Or like, I was talking about how like, I don't necessarily want like a sexist joke or anything, but the line of, I had that old romantic feeling where I really want to nail her. I don't know why that one got me too. I literally started writing down the jokes that were working for me because I was like, okay, these are rare enough that I should try it. Oh, another one where he said that her last name, you know, it's right there on the briefcase, Samsonite.
But that's
Stupid,
that's
but it's so
that one
funny.
I love because it's the luggage name. It's like
so funny.
So it's funny because there's a lot of quotes for this movie I'll just start saying, and if somebody's like, I don't know, what's her name? Samsonite? Samson? Schwammy? And I love using GIFs from this movie to respond to people. Hey, what do you think about this? I like it a lot. I'll use that.
Yeah.
So this movie gives me a lot of material to use.
Yeah, for me, there are definitely funny parts. It gave me sort of like an identity crisis.
Who is Dumb and Dumber to you?
Easily, Jeff Bridges is dumb and Jim Carrey is dumber.
Okay.
Easily.
Okay. I think you're right. I think that's about right. So like I said, I mentioned they did a sequel 20 years later.
Not worth it.
I did not like it.
That one's Dumb and Dumberer, right?
It's Dumb and Dumber 2.
Oh, because there was also Dumb and Dumberer, wasn't there?
There is, and that's a prequel. Because that is called Dumb and Dumberer When Harry Met Lloyd. And it's them in high school. It's different actors.
Okay.
I actually would just prefer that to be the only sequel because it has some very funny moments. Bob Saget's in it. Bob Saget is great. Rest in peace as well.
Yeah, Bob Saget makes me smile.
And yeah, I think that one was
fine.
Was fine. Like, I mean, it's also not cinematic gold or a masterpiece or anything. But if I was somebody asking, well, which sequel should I watch? I would pick that one.
Okay.
Over the sequel with Jim Carrey, Jeff Daniels. I remember seeing that in theaters, and there's a scene where at Bob Saget's house, Harry has melted chocolate in his pocket, and he's trying to clean, but he's just smearing it all over the bathroom. All over.
I feel great.
And Bob Saget comes in there, and he's like, what is this? Oh my God, shit! There's shit everywhere! And I'll tell you, the theater I was in, people were just off their asses laughing on that one. Like, it was hilarious.
And I mean, like, you're literally just describing it to me and I'm laughing. Like, why?
It's
I don't understand.
It's another poop joke.
Yeah, it's just another poop joke. I don't understand what makes it funny.
And I think that was the purpose now, thinking about it. Like, well, if you saw the first one and Harry had a poop joke in that one in a bathroom, here's another one.
Maybe the fact that it's not poop is what makes it funny.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah.
And they do like the bonus stuff at the end of the credits, the outtakes and stuff. Bob Saget licks the stuff off the wall, and he goes, "Oh, that's shit." So I'll let you watch that one too if you want, because
why not?
You might as well.
Just
because it's like it is pretty fun. It's definitely they play on them being really dumb in that one, especially Lloyd. Like, holy crap! Like, would you ever watch it again, or the unrated version that I have?
I'm very curious about the unrated version. So that definitely, the whatever version I rented on YouTube, because I always rent movies on YouTube.
Yeah, that was probably the theatrical cut.
Okay. Yeah, there's parts that I think I would rewatch, but like some of the little clips and things that I've seen are enough.
Yeah.
It's, it is.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not your cup of tea of comedy, I totally understand.
It's just like the weirdest grab bag of like not my cup of tea and also my cup of tea. It's strange.
Yeah.
It's not enough to like tip it over into like, yeah, I'll definitely like just put this on because I'm feeling like watching a movie. But like, yeah, like little clips will definitely like make me smile, and I wouldn't be sad to see them. And yeah, that unrated version, I'm really curious about that now. Yeah,
like I said many times, I've enjoyed it. I grew up watching this movie. It's one of the many movies growing up watching in the 90s that I watched with all my family members. I like it a lot.
I think what I'll do is write it a John Deere letter.
Yeah.
So listeners, what do you think? Please share your thoughts with us in the comments. If you want to support this podcast, you can do so by becoming a patron at patreon.com/youhaven'tseen-that-podcast. Link is in the description. Thanks. So, what are we watching next?
Well, you tell me, because apparently it's a movie I have not seen.
So we're switching it up just a tiny bit because I was shocked to discover that there is a movie, a normal, mainstream movie that I have seen, but Josh hasn't. So we're going to switch it up and watch The Devil Wears Prada next time.
Yeah.
Josh does not look very excited.
Yeah, it was just not a movie I was interested in.
I think you'll be surprised by it. When it came out, I also was not interested. I took one look at that and I was like, absolutely not. Boo, fashion. I was very much one of those, I'm not like other girls at that time in my life. Yeah. And so I was like, I don't like clothes. I don't like fashion. I don't like girl things. Yeah. And I'm still a little bit that way. But at the same time, one of my friends convinced me to go and watch it, and I loved it. It's so good. I think you'll be really surprised.
Well, we'll see. I can give you my honest opinion when I see it. It looks, I mean, I've heard a lot of people like it, and obviously it's got a good following since it's
and a great
sequel
cast
coming. And the cast is, I like who's in it, so. Yeah,
push past the sense that it's going to be boring and weird. And
yeah, I mean, I'm a lot different now than I was 2006 as definitely age-wise and like what type of movies I watched.
Okay, I'm just going to stop the recording.
I think we have something
to end. That's like, yeah, we're done.